What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto x Monster Girl Harem? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. It's always the same around here. A young girl with long white hair, white wings, a white tail, and black horns, said as she looked up at the red moon from one of the palace balconies. Every day I have to stay in the palace and be taught by the tutors mother hired for me, the girl said as she looked to the large city, just outside the palace walls. Is it too much to ask for someone I can call a friend? She asked just as a small explosion of smoke appeared behind her. That could have gone better, a boy's voice said. Throw the smoke in between the coughs. When the smoke cleared, the girl saw a boy roughly her age with bright blonde hair, blue eyes, and whisker marks on his cheeks. Who are you? The girls hesitantly asked, getting the boy's attention. Who are you? What are you doing? The blonde panicked until he looked around. The girl was about to ask who he was again, when the boy ran beside her to look over the balcony. It worked. I don't know what it did, but it worked. The boy nearly yelled as he took in the sight. Ooh, sorry, but, the girl was asking when the boy turned to her. Oh sorry, the name's Naruto Uzumaki. What's yours? Naruto asked the girl. It's Arya. Could you tell me how you got here? Arya asked him. I used the seal over there, Naruto said, pointing at a scroll over where he appeared. Speaking of here, where are we anyway? Naruto asked her. We're in the Demon Lord's palace, in the royal demon realm, Arya told him. Never heard of it, the blonde bluntly said. And never heard of it? It's the capital of the Monsterlands. How could you not know of it? Arya yelled, completely stunned by the blonde's lack of knowledge. Monsterlands? You lost me, Naruto told her. He doesn't understand? How could this boy grow up not knowing? Arya wondered to herself when her attention was drawn to the scroll. He said he got here through a seal. Could he be from a world completely cut off from this one? The girl wondered. Hey Arya, you want to be my friend? The blonde asked, bringing him out of her thoughts. What did you say? Arya asked. I said, do you want to be my friend? Naruto told her. Few hours later. Forgive me my lord, but I feel you should know this, a guard said as she entered the Demon Lord's study. What is it? A woman appearing very similar to Arya, only older and in dazzling yet revealing clothing, asked. Well my lord, it appeases Lady Arya has been playing with a human boy, the guard informed her. Is that so? The Demon Lord said in a happy tone. Could you show me? She asked the guard. Palace garden. No far. How am I supposed to catch you if you're flying? Naruto asked the Lilim that was flying above him. You never said I couldn't use my wings. Arya cheerfully pointed out. I haven't seen her this happy in a while. I was beginning to worry, but it seems she just needed a companion, the Demon Lord said as she watched the two. It doesn't hurt that the boy has some good looks, and I'm sure he'll become quite handsome in the future, the Demon Lord happily commented. So, where's the boy from? She asked her guard. That's the thing. When we asked him, he said he was from a village known as Konoha located in the Land of Fire. A nation from somewhere known as the Elemental Nations, the woman answered her lord. That is rather odd, the Demon Lord said. Arya, I see you've made a friend, the Demon Lord said as she walked up to the two. Mother, do you need something? Arya asked as she landed. What, can't I check in on my own daughter every now and then? Of course, I also wanted to meet the boy you've been playing with, the Demon Lord said as she knelt down to be eye level with them. Yes, me and Naruto have been playing together, Arya said as she latched onto his arm. Yes, I can see that you two get along very well, the Demon Lord said, happy that Arya found a friend. But I was wondering if you could tell me where Naruto's from, the woman told them. Arya says I came from another world, though I'm not entirely sure what that means, Naruto said. Another world, huh? The Demon Lord thought. Could you show me how you got here? The woman asked. Sure, the blonde said, pulling out the scroll. Just add some chakra to this and, Naruto said, and the three vanished in a cloud of smoke. 6 years later. I can't get up with you on me, Naruto told Arya as she lay on top of him, only the sheet covering them. But then, how will you keep me company? Arya asked as she rested her head on his chest. Team assignment is today, the blonde reminded her. Can't they just send you a letter telling you who you're paired with? The Lilim asked, not wanting to separate from her blonde lover. Absolutely not. A blonde girl with 2 sets of angelic wings and wearing a light blue nightgown said from the doorway. Morning Freya. Naruto greeted the blonde. Morning Naruto. Freya greeted as she walked up to them, and pulled Arya off the bed. Hey, what's that for? The Lilim nearly yelled at the Valkyrie. Be fortunate that I even allow a creature such as you to touch him. Naruto is to attend class and learn who his future comrades shall be, so that he may further his path to becoming a great hero, Freya said. Alright, no fighting. I wasn't going to skip it anyway, Naruto told them as he got up and walked over to his dresser. Of course, though perhaps I may accompany you today? Freya asked with a small blush. Sorry, I don't want the villagers to freak out when they see you're not human, Naruto said as he gathered some clothes. You know they'll find out eventually, Arya told him. I know, but if I say yes, then everyone else will want to come too. The blonde told them as he made his way to the door. So, it's not like there are any classes today, Arya said as she went to follow him. Your point? Naruto asked as he opened the bathroom door, only to find it already occupied. Sorry, didn't know anyone was in here. The blonde apologized to the half-naked girl. No need to apologize, a girl blonde hair, fox ears, and 7 tails said as she grabbed hold of his arm. There's enough room in the tub for both of us, she said directly into his ear. Miyaka, I don't have time to waste. I need to get ready so I can go to team assignment at the academy, Naruto told his fellow blonde. Very well, we'll just wash each other, Miyaka said. Mind if I help? Arya said as she walked into the bathroom. You got Naruto all to yourself last night. Give someone else a turn, Miyaka told the Lilim. You're all hopeless, Freya told them after getting to the bathroom. After the bath, breakfast is almost done. A girl with long purple hair, arms covered in green scales, and a long snake-like lower body said as Naruto walked into the kitchen. It smells good. What are you cooking, Suki? Naruto asked the Ryu. Scrambled eggs, Suki answered. Here's the milk, freshly made. A girl with long black and white hair done in a braid, horns, cow ears, a long cowtail, and large hoofed legs, said as she walked in with fresh milk. Morning Carolee, Naruto greeted the whole stores. Oh, you're up Naruto. Would you like some milk? Carolee asked the blonde. I'd love a glass, Naruto told her. Coming right up then, Carolee cheerfully said as she went to get a cup. I'm coming with you, Arya said as she too sat at the table. What makes you think I'll agree to that? Naruto asked the girl. What makes you think you can stop me? Arya responded with her own question. You really should respect Master's wishes more, a girl with long dark blue, almost black, hair. A long tail covered in equally dark blue feathers, and wearing a maid's outfit said as she set the table. We can't all be as obedient as you, Adel, Arya said to the Kikamura. Yeah, nothing we say's going to change her mind, Naruto said. I don't see what the problem is. Hiding my tail, wings, and horns is simply a matter of covering them. It's not like the people of this world are familiar with demonic energy, and those who can sense it are more than likely already informed of our existence by the Hokage, Arya told him. You're going to do whatever you want, no matter what I tell you, Naruto told her. So glad you agree, Arya said as Suki filled their plates. Academy, was that really so bad? Arya asked as the two walked through the hallway, dressed in a black cloak and hat to hide her Lilim appearance. We still have the whole day ahead of us, Naruto told her as they entered the classroom. You worry too much, Arya said as she sat next to a raven-haired boy, getting most of the girls in class to glare at her. Maybe you're right, Naruto said, sitting down next to her. Friend of yours? The raven-haired boy asked the blonde. You could say that, Arya answered for him. I got here first. Two girls all but yelled as they entered the room at the same time. Who are they? Arya asked. The one with pink hair is Sakura and the one with blonde hair is Ino, Naruto told her. They seem annoying, Arya commented, getting a small nod from the raven-haired boy. Give them some time, they should grow out of it, Naruto said. Hi Sakura, Naruto greeted the pink kid, right before she pushed him out of his seat. Who are you and why are you sitting next to Sasuke? Sakura asked Arya. Shouldn't you introduce yourself before asking someone else their name? Arya asked the pink kid. I'm Sakura Haruno, and you're trying to steal Sasuke from me, Sakura accused Arya. That's what you're so worked up over? I already have a lover, so you have nothing to fear from me, Arya informed her. You have a lover? Who is it? Ino asked the girl, wanting to hear some juicy gossip. Naruto, obviously, the beautiful Lilim told them. Naruto? Most of the girls yelled after a moment of silence. Is it that surprising? Arya asked with a smile. It's Naruto, of course it's surprising. Sakura told Arya. I'm not the only lover he has. I often have to share him, though I was fortunate to have him to myself last night. Arya told them, thoroughly enjoying the reactions the class were giving. Share? Ino and Sakura asked as half the class passed out. The boys who fainted was from blood loss. This is why I wanted you to stay at home, Naruto told the Lilim. Okay, class, settle down and Iruka said as he entered the class, only to find half of them out cold and the other half speechless. What happened? Iruka asked. They fainted after I told them about Naruto's lovers, Arya told him. Oh, Arya, I see you came with Naruto today, Iruka said once he noticed the Lilim. At least he only brought one of them, Iruka thought as he remembered the others from the times he visited Naruto's house. This sensei of yours is taking his time, Arya commented as her, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke waited in the classroom. Yeah, what's taking him so long? Everyone else's sensei came hours ago, Naruto added. I'm sure he has a good reason, Sakura said, despite herself being annoyed with their sensei's lateness. If I'd have known we'd be sitting here doing nothing for hours, I'd have taken Naruto somewhere private for a little fun, Arya said as she moved closer to the blonde. What do you mean? The pink kid asked the Lilim. How old are you? Surely you know what lovers do in private, Arya told her, getting Sakura to blush heavily and turn away from the girl. How cute. You blush so easily, Arya teased. Arya, stop teasing her. She's not used to it like you, Naruto told the Lilim. To think that you'd be reprimanding someone, Sasuke commented. So you can still talk. I'd wondered if you'd lost your voice since this morning, Arya said to the boy. After the Lilim said this, the door opened to finally show them their sensei. The white-haired man with his left eye covered took a minute to look them over. My first impression, the man started, there are more here than I thought there'd be, he finished. Not surprising, considering you were expecting there to be only 3 people here, Arya told him. True, now met me on the roof in 5 minutes, the man said as he left the room. Roof, now that we're all here, why don't you tell me about yourself? Stuff like, your name, hobbies, likes, dislikes, and dreams for the future, the man told them. Sensei, could you demonstrate for us? Sakura asked. Okay, I'm Kakashi Hitaki. My hobbies, I have lots of them. I have thing I like and thing I dislike, and my dream for the future. Never gave it much thought, Kakashi told them. So, you're only going to give your name? Arya said. Well, if you're so curious, why don't you go next? Kakashi told the Lilim. If you insist. My name is Arya. I can't think of any specific hobby to give you. I like Naruto and having with him, Arya said, getting Sakura to blush more than before at her bluntness. I dislike having to share Naruto when we're already making love, and those who blindly follow the order of the chief god. My dream for the future is to make this world a haven for monsters, Arya finished. She definitely fits the Hokage's description, Kakashi thought to himself. Monsters? What are you going on about? Sakura asked, getting Sasuke interested in her answer. So much for keeping a low profile, Naruto thought. It may sound odd to you, but I come from a world inhabited by more than just humans, Arya said as she removed her cloak and hat to show off her tail, wings, and horns. I myself, along with all of the girls who live with Naruto, are monsters from this world, Arya said as she watched for how the two would react. If you're from another world, why are you here? The pink kid asked, completely unsure how she should react to this information. We have Naruto here to thank for that, Arya said as she brought the blonde closer. He showed up in the palace 6 years ago and let yous know about this world, Arya finished. This is nice and all, but can we continue the introductions? Kakashi asked. How about you? Kakashi asked pointing to Sakura. Why yes, I'm Sakura Haruno, my hobbies are, Sakura says before looking at Sasuke, blushing, and giggling, repeated for the rest of her introduction. Good God Sakura, if you like the boy that much, just fuck him already, Arya said once the pink kid finished. What are you saying? Sakura yelled. Are you that sheltered? If you need me to explain, then you start by stripping his, Arya began, but was interrupted by the pink kid. I know what you meant. Sakura yelled. Oh good, I was afraid that you didn't understand at the age you are. I was even contemplating me and Naruto showing you how it works. Though I'm sure you wouldn't mind, Arya said as she leaned into him and ran her hands up and down his chest. Don't bring me into this, Naruto told her, as Sakura all but fainted at her implications and Sasuke moved away from the Lilim. This is going to take a while, Kakashi thought after seeing this. Naruto's house. Today wasn't that bad, Arya said as the two entered the compound. Honestly, I'm surprised it went that well, Naruto told her. Welcome back, the two heard. Bako, how are you today? Naruto asked, recognizing that melancholic voice. I'm fine. Did you enjoy your day? Bako asked as she crawled out from under the house, revealing herself to have a long centipede lower body. Yes, I did. Thanks for asking, the blonde said as the purple-haired girl came up to him. That's good to hear, Bako said as she started to embrace the blonde. After a moment of remaining in this embrace, the girl couldn't help but bring the blonde into a passionate kiss. Arya, would you mind if I have Naruto tonight? Bako asked after she broke the kiss. I have no problem with it, Arya simply said as she continued towards the house. I think your libido has increased lately, Naruto said once Arya was in the house. How am I to stand out if I don't show you what I can do? Bako asked with a small smile. That night. Next day. Great, not only is Kakashi-sensei late, but now Naruto's late too. Sakura complained as her and Sasuke waited in the training ground. Sorry I'm late. Sakura and Sasuke heard from above, just before a dragon landed with Naruto riding it, followed shortly by Arya and an armed Freya. Naruto. You have a dragon? Sakura yelled after she fell over in shock. Yeah, sorry about that. Sable insisted on coming. Naruto apologized as he got off of Sable. Yes, if Arya and Freya get to come, then I should be able to come as well, the dragon said as it slowly turned into a green-scaled girl with large wings for arms. And to be more precise, I'm a wyvern, Sable told them. Yes, that's all good and all. Now where is this sensei of yours? We need to get you to pass this test as soon as possible. Your future as a hero depends on this, Freya said, getting odd looks from Sakura and Sasuke. You can just ignore her, Arya said, getting Freya to glare at her. We would have been here sooner, but Bako kept Naruto up late last night, Arya explained. And what is Bako? Sasuke asked, already guessing that she wouldn't be human. She's an Oamukade, Sable answered. Seeing them thinking about it, she elaborated. A giant centipede, Sable said, getting a grossed out look from the Pinkett. Why did she keep him up last? Sakura was asking when she came to a realization. On second thought, I don't want to know. So you are learning, Arya commented as she watched the Pinkett's face turn red. This is going to be a long day, Kakashi thought as he watched the group. Hopefully you get a better mission today. The past week has been boring, what with me watching you all do menial tasks, Arya commented as her and Team 7 walked through the Hokage's tower. I don't even know why you come with us then. You're not a shinobi, Sakura pointed out. You'd miss me if I wasn't here, Arya told her as they entered the mission room. Why would I miss you? The Pinkett asked, but before Arya could answer, Sakura heard the voice of someone else she didn't want to see at the moment. Well, if it isn't Forehead. What's wrong? Don't like it on your new team? I can always switch with you if you want, Ino told Sakura. As it turned out, the other two teams from their class were there for missions as well. Keep dreaming, Ino pig. There's no way you could handle being on this team, Sakura told the girl. This might get interesting. I should have brought popcorn, Arya said as she began to watch the two girls. Kakashi, you're right on time for once. The Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, said. I have here a mission that your team has specificity been asked to do, Hiruzen said as he pulled out a scroll containing the mission details. Lord Hokage, they've only been taking missions for a week. This mission is a C rank, possibly even a B rank, Kakashi said once he looked over the scroll. That can't be right. Why would someone ask a new team of genin to do such a high-ranked mission? A woman with curvy black hair and crimson-colored eyes said. To be more precise, the client asked for Naruto specifically, Hiruzen said. What? Naruto, but he's the dead last. Why would someone ask for him? A boy with red fang tattoos on his cheeks and a white dog asked. Yeah, I could understand if they asked for Sasuke, but Naruto? Ino said. They'll have to learn about this sooner or later anyway, Hiruzen thought to himself as he came up with a plan. Naruto is well known in this region. In fact, this is the first time we've received a request from the region. I want to make a good impression with the people there, so I accepted their request. After all, Naruto here has more knowledge on the area than anyone else in the village, Hiruzen explained. So, we're going there huh? Naruto wondered as he listened to the old man. Naruto's never left the village. How does he have a reputation in this place? Thr boy with fang tattoos asked. Not only that, how does he know more about it than even you? Ino asked. If Naruto knows so much about this place, that would mean we're going. Oh god no. Why me? Sakura thought having figured it out already. Figured we'd end up going there eventually with the dope on our team, Sasuke thought, having come to the same conclusion as Sakura. Well, if you two are so concerned, then your teams can go as well, Hiruzen said. Are you sure about this? A man smoking a cigarette with black hair and beard asked. I am. We'll be receiving more requests from this land in the future. They'll have to learn all they can about it. And I can't think of anyone better than Naruto to teach them. So I want all of you to report to Naruto's home in 2 hours ready to leave, Hiruzen finished. 2 hours later. Why do we have to go to Naruto's if we're leaving the village? Ino asked as both teams arrived at Naruto's house. Who knows? I'm sure Naruto will explain when we get inside, a boy with a lazy expression told her. Shikamaru's right. We'll just have to ask Naruto, the boy with fang tattoos said as he went to knock on the gate, only for it to open revealing Adol. Hello. Master is in the back preparing the seal. Follow me please, Adol said as she stood back to let them in. Huh? Are you not coming in? Adol asked when she saw the genin just staring at her. Yes, we are. Thank you, the woman with crimson eyes said as she nudged the genin into the compound. Hope you don't mind me asking, but what's with the feathers? Ino asked, thinking they were some kind of new fashion. My feathers? Adol asked as she looked at her feathers. Oh silly me, you must not have been fully informed, Adol concluded. Informed of what? Shikamaru asked. That Naruto is the only human who lives here, Adol answered as the group reached the spot where Naruto was. Around the blonde was Team 7 and most of the house's residents. Perfect timing, I just finished the seal, Naruto said, only to see his old classmates frozen where they were. Right, no one told them, Naruto said, slapping himself for forgetting. I'll bring them over, Suki said as she went over to the group. I know this is a lot to take in, but you all have a job to do, Suki told them as she wrapped around the genin and pulled them over to the seal. Is this how all of the humans in this world going to react when we tell them about monsters? Arya playfully asked as the other two sensei entered the seal. What's going on? Ino finally asked. We're going to my world to take care of a mission, Arya told them as the seal began to glow. Told you couldn't handle being on this team, Sakura gleefully told Ino, happy that she's not in her place for once. Be safe, Suki told them, as the others waved goodbye. MGE World. In a cloud of smoke the group appeared in a large throne room. I think I'm going to be sick, a heavy-set boy said as he held his stomach, having never experienced traveling like that before. Sorry Choji, should have warned you not to eat before using the seal for the first time, Naruto said. So where are we? The boy with fang tattoos asked. You are in my kingdom young man, and I welcome each and every one of you to it. A large muscular man with short spiked hair and matching beard joyously said. I take it you're King Rutley, Kakashi said as the king walked up to the group. That I am, and I assume you are the group sent by Konoha, Rutley said as he stopped in front of the group. That's correct, though I hope you don't mind that we sent more than one team. Lord Hokage wanted the genin to become familiar with this world, Kakashi said. Not to worry, your Hokage sent a letter ahead of time explaining his decision. Now which of you are Naruto Uzumaki? Rutley asked. That'd be me, Naruto said as he stepped forward. The hero who calms monsters and travels the lands with the daughter of the demon lord. It's a pleasure to finally meet you Naruto Uzumaki, Rutley said as he placed a hand on the blonde's shoulder. I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm a hero. I just help out when someone needs it, Naruto said. Ha 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 ha, humble too it seems, Rutley said as he started patting the boy on the back. Naruto's a hero? The boy with fang tattoos asked. That he is, though he still has a long path to travel before he reaches his true glory, Freya said. You just want him to fight for the chief god, Arya said. 'Tis only right for him to fight for good. 'Tis also fortunate that the energy that exists in his world seems immune to your corruption, Freya smugly told the Lilim. Just because his world can't undergo monsterization, does not mean that we cannot turn it into a monster-friendly world, Arya told the Valkyrie. It said in the mission you requested that your daughter has gone missing, Kakashi said. Yes, my daughter is very adventurous, and often leaves the city without telling anyone, but she's never been gone this long. I beg of you Konoha shinobi, bring my little girl back to us, the man pleaded as he keeled to them. There's no need for you to ask like this. You have my word, that we'll do everything we can to bring her back, Naruto told the man. Thank you. I knew asking for your help was the right option, Rutley said as he stood back up. Do you have anything of hers we could use, Kakashi asked the man. We do, but what do you need it for? Rutley asked. We can use her scent to track her down, Kakashi said as he summoned a group of dogs. Yo, a small pug said as once the smoke cleared. Pakun, I need you guys to find a princess, Kakashi told them. Princess huh? Sure, we can do that, Pakun said. Ha, me and Akamaru can help out as well, the feral-looking boy said as his dog barked in agreement. See, Kiba and I can find her scent. All we need is something that smells like her, Kakashi said. Understood. You, bring me one of Sari's dresses. Rutley ordered one of his guards. Right away my king, the man said as he ran off. Though I am surprised that you can wear such heavy clothing in the desert, Rutley said as he looked at the shinobi who were wearing jackets. I was wondering why I was getting so hot, Naruto said as he removed his jacket. We're in a desert? A girl with dark blue, nearly black, hair asked as she too removed her jacket. Yes, the kingdom of Auroran is mainly desert, and you are currently in the capital city of Lorburn, in the largest oasis in this desert, Rutley told them. Auroran is rather new, correct? Arya asked. Correct princess. I helped my father build this kingdom from the ground up, Rutley proudly said. Auroran is a monster-friendly state, right? Sable asked. Monster-friendly? The girl with dark blue hair asked. Yes, in this world there are generally 3 types of states, demonic realms, states that follow the chief god, and monster-friendly states, Rutley told them. Demonic realms and monster-friendly states are accepting of monsters. The states that follow the chief god seek to eradicate monsters, Arya further explained. Why would they want to destroy monsters? You don't seem that bad to me, Kiba asked. Monsters are foul, evil creatures that seek to corrupt men and turn women into monsters. If they are not kept at bay, then the world will fall into ruin, Freya said. And that's the kind of crazy logic that those who follow the chief god follow. Truly utter nonsense, Arya said. Why you? Freya yelled as she drew her sword on Arya. To slow Valkyrie, Arya said as she flew up to the roof. I've had enough of your indecency. Freya yelled, and was about to fly after the Lilim when Naruto grabbed her ankle and pulled the holy warrior back down. What have I told you two about fighting? Naruto told the girls, to which Freya began to mumble while she put her sword away. That happen often? Pakun asked. Unfortunately yes, the blonde answered. My king, one of Lady Sari's dresses as you requested, the guard from before said as he entered the room. Excellent. Hand it to our friends here, the king said. Think you can find her? Kakashi asked as he handed the dress to his summons. Piece of cake. We'll let you know when we find something, Pakun said before the dogs jumped away. Now we just wait till they find her scent, Kakashi said. I don't know what you were so freaked out about, forehead. Once you get over the weirdness of monsters being girls, there's nothing wrong with this mission, Ino told Sakura as the group followed Pakun through the desert. You don't know what monsters here eat, Sakura told her. Can't be that bad. They don't seem in eating us. Kiba added his thoughts. They eat human spirit energy, Sasuke said. Spirit energy? Sounds troublesome if you ask me, Shikamaru said. The process of getting spirit energy is usually enjoyable for both the human and monster, Arya said as she, along with Freya and Sable, flew next to the shinobi. Enjoyable? The girl with dark blue hair and pale lavender eye asked. Yes, the best way to get spirit energy is through, Arya told them. Ino yelled, while the dark blue-haired girl blushed heavily. What's with human girls from your world acting weird whenever we tell them that? Sable asked. Isn't something that's so openly talked about in our world. Especially between people who have just met, the woman with red eyes explained. Well Kurenai, now is the perfect opportunity to talk about it. After all, we are in a world where monsters are looking for husbands, and willing to use force if necessary, Arya said. Great, monster girls are even more troublesome than normal girls, Shikamaru said. And you wonder why I say monsters are evil, Freya commented. She has a point. I've had to deal with monsters looking to take my spirit energy in the past. It's not unlikely that we'll have to deal with something like that on this mission, Naruto told the group. I'll beat any girl who tries to take my Sasuke from me. Ino yelled. Okay, seriously, that wouldn't be such a big problem if you just fucked the boy. I don't get you girls at all, Arya said, getting blushes from Ino, Kurenai, and the dark blue-haired girl. What about you? Arya asked as she flew next to the dark blue-haired girl. You must have someone you like, correct? The Lilim asked. Like. Well I do, but, the girl said. Seeing the girl's eyes turn towards Naruto while she said this, she decided to have some fun. You like Naruto, huh? The Lilim playfully asked. Wha? How did why you know? The girl asked in surprise. Hinata, you like Naruto? Since when? Ino asked the girl, turning her into a stuttering mess. My, such a shy girl. I think she'd benefit from turning into a monster, Arya commented as she flew next to Hinata. Absolutely not, Kurenai yelled at the Lilim. Kurenai-sensei's right. We shouldn't turn Hinata into a crazed monster, Naruto said with a small blush. Unfortunately, having heard all of this sent Hinata over the edge and she fainted. You sure about that? Arya asked as the group stopped near a rocky outcrop. 5 minutes later. How long is she usually out for? Sable asked as she looked at the still unconscious girl. She should be up soon, Kurenai answered. At least we have time to rest, Choji said as he pulled out a bag of chips. What do you think about adding her to the harem? Arya asked, to which Naruto and Kurenai yelled for her to drop it. Fine, we can talk about it later, Arya said. This isn't exactly what I thought my first C rank would be like, Kiba said as he sat on one of the rocks. What did you expect? A boy wearing a trench coat and sunglasses asked in a monotone. Come on Shino, you can't tell me you weren't looking forward to some action? Kiba asked his teammate, right before the rock he was sitting on moved under the sand. What the hell? Kiba yelled as he was sent face first into the sand. What was that? Are we under attack? Ino asked as everyone took a defensive stance. If my memory's correct, that was, Arya was saying when a giant armor-plated worm came out of the sand, towering above them. Sandworm, Arya finished. You just had to say that Kiba, didn't you? Naruto said to the boy. Don't blame me, Kiba yelled. Focus, it's coming, Kakashi told them as he jumped out of the sandworm's way. Leave it to me, human boulder, Choji yelled as he turned into a giant destructive ball and rolled towards the sandworm. Seeing the boy rolling towards her, the sandworm dove under the sand and used her body as a ramp, sending the boy into one of the small cliffs surrounding them. Thought you said the monsters in this world were girls, the man with a cigarette said as he pulled out his trench knives. They are, sandworms just happen to have a body that's close to the one they had under the previous demon lord, Arya said as she blasted the sand in the area, trying to hit the sandworm. Try not to hurt her, Naruto told the group. Are you crazy? Ino yelled at her fellow blonde. Yeah, you're joking, right? Kiba asked as he dropped to all fours and Akamaru jumped onto his back as a clone of the boy. Does it sound like I'm joking? Naruto told them as he brought a sword out of a seal. We need to get off the sand, Shikamaru said as he jumped onto the rocks, shortly followed by the others. Now what? Kurenai asked as she put Hinata onto the rock. We need to wear her out, Naruto said. Easier said than done, Sakura said a bit agitated. She's probably just looking for a guy if she's still coming after us, Sable suggested as she hovered overhead. I'd be best to just take it out, Freya said as she held her holy sword, ready to attack if given the order. How the hell can you have with a worm? Ino nearly yelled, just before the sandworm came up behind them and slammed into the rock pillar. We can go over monster anatomy later. We need to deal with this right now, Naruto yelled, just before falling due to part of the rock breaking away. Naruto, Kakashi yelled about to jump after the boy when the sandworm's tail came up to smash the rest of the rock pillar. Sorry, I'm busy right now, Naruto said as he used one of the falling rocks to push himself out of the way of her mouth. I'd hear you out any other time, the blonde said as he slashed the sandworm from just behind the mouth to the sand she was coming out of, leaving a violet-pink cut mark. This however didn't stop the monster as she turned on the blonde and dove for him. "Shit," the blonde said as he made a cross-shaped hand seal and formed a bunch of clones, right before having most of them swallowed by the sandworm as she disappeared under the sand. "You okay, Naruto?" the man with a cigarette asked the blonde once everything settled. "I'm fine. Thanks for asking, Asuma-sensei," Naruto said. "Is that thing going to come back?" Pakun asked. "Considering the amount of clones she just swallowed, I think she'll be busy for a while," Arya said as she landed. "Busy?" Ino asked. "You wanted to know how a sandworm had right? Naruto's getting personal experience on that right now," Arya said. "I think that's all we need to know," Kurenai said as she carried Hinata. What happened?" Hinata asked as she woke up. "You fainted after we started talking about you liking Naruto, a sandworm attacked, and now a bunch of Naruto's clones are having with her," Arya said, which immediately made Hinata faint again. "Damn it, Arya, you're not allowed talking to Hinata when she wakes up again," Naruto yelled at the Lilim. "This is going to take a while," the rest of them thought. After Hinata woke up, "Hey Naruto, I was wondering something," Asuma said as he came up to the blonde as the group continued to follow Sari's trail. "What is it?" Naruto asked. "When you cut the sandworm, the injury didn't look normal. I want to know if it's just the sandworm or if it's something you did," Asuma said. "It's my sword," Naruto said as he brought it out again, and handed it to Asuma. "It's made from Demon Realm silver. It can't actually hurt anyone, it can only drain their energy," the blonde explained. "Sounds useful when you need to take someone out, without killing them," Asuma said as he handed the sword back. "Yeah, I tend to use it a lot when I'm in this world," Naruto said as he took the blade back. "Looks like the girl went in there," Pakun said as the group stopped in front of a almost completely buried building, only what looked like a broken tower sticking out of the sand. "We might as well go in," Kakashi said as he walked inside, shortly followed by the others. 10 minutes later. "This isn't what I expected," Naruto said as the group finally found the princess. "This is just weird," Sakura commented as the group watched the princess sitting at a large dining table in a large well-lit dining hall. An average-looking man sitting close to her as Kepri stood around them like servants in a wealthy family. "Come now, princess. Why won't you eat?" the man asked as he held a glass of wine in his hand. "Why are you forcing me to stay here?" Sari asked with venom as she adjusted the shackle around her neck. Now, princess," the man said as he yanked on the chain attached to the shackle, roughly pulling the girl to him. "Where are your manners? I went through the trouble of setting up this wonderful feast, and you're not even going to try it?" the man asked, becoming angry with the girl, as she glared back at him. "I even got you this lovely dress," the man said as he tore the fabric, making the reed-haired girl cover her chest with a small scream. "Perhaps I've been too easy on you. Perhaps you need to be taught Elysian?" the man shouted as he grabbed her arms and pulled them away from her chest. "And I know just the lesion to teach," the man said as he stared at her chest. "She doesn't want your lesion, Paul," Naruto said as he kicked the man away from her, shocking Sari and the Kepri. "Who are?" Sari was asking when the man cut her off. "You bastard, do you have any idea who I am? I'm the future king of this land," the man yelled in blind rage as he held his broken nose, his Kepri harem between him and the shinobi. "Someone like you doesn't deserve to be king," Naruto yelled at the man as the rest of the group jumped into the room. "You really shouldn't rush in like that, Naruto, but considering what he was about to do. I'll let it slide this time," Kakashi said as he and the rest of the group were glaring at the man, especially the girls. "Ah, sure Ina, I'll make more clones for you," the blonde said, unsure how he should react to this, much like the others who were just staring at the happy girl. "Sometime later. And then the 3 clones filled me to the brim. Of course that didn't satisfy us, so he made another group of clones," Arya was telling them when Ino and Sakura finally had enough. "Arya, too much information." "Ino," Sakura yelled at the Lilim. "You're the ones that wanted to know how he was," Arya said, confused by their outburst. "Exactly. We wanted to know if he was good. Not a detailed description of what happened last night," Ino yelled. "We're here," Sari said as everyone stopped in front of a temple that was in the process of being reclaimed by the desert. "Finally. If I had to listen to Arya any longer, I'd have to change my panties." "Damn Lilim," Ino thought, with Sakura having similar thoughts. "What's with all of the ruins in this desert?" Kiba asked. Auroran was not the first kingdom in this desert. There have been many to rise and fall in this area. As a result, the desert is littered with the ruins of those ancient civilizations, Sari explained. Nice to know. Now that we're here, however, think you can tell us what we're here for? Shikamaru asked. A mirror, Sari answered. A mirror? We came all the way out here for a mirror? Kiba yelled. It has special properties that I desire, Sari said before walking into the temple. So we came here for a magic mirror? Asuma asked. Magic items aren't uncommon in this world. So if she has to come to a place like this to find it, then it must be really unique, Naruto said before he went in after her. Well, we can't let them have all the fun, Kakashi said before the rest of them went in. Naruto, wait up, you'll get separated if you go off ahead. Sakura called out as Naruto and Sari turned a corner at the end of the hall. That idiot, he never learns, Sakura muttered. Don't worry, Sakura, it's just one corner, we can easily catch up, Kakashi said just before the group turned the corner to find a dead end. Or not, the masked shinobi said. It would seem the ruins are still very much alive, Freya commented. What do we do now? That was the only way through, Sasuke asked. It would seem that's not the case, Shino said, drawing everyone's attention to a corridor that had appeared on the opposite wall. Looks like this just got a lot more interesting, Arya said. You have an unusual concept of interesting, Freya told the Lilim. With Naruto and Sari, you know we're on our own now, right? Sari asked the blonde. Yeah, but I'm sure we'll meet up with them later, Naruto told the redhead. Do you mind if I ask a question? Sari asked as the two walked down the corridor. Ask away, Naruto told her. Why did you come to this world in the first place? Sari asked as she grabbed a torch off of the wall. To be honest, I didn't intend to come to a new world when I first came here, Naruto as he grabbed a torch. It was an accident? Sari asked a bit surprised. Yeah, I was messing with an old scroll I found when I activated the seal on it. Next thing I know, I'm standing in front of Arya in the Demon Lord's palace, Naruto told her. Then let me rephrase the question. What made you come back? Sari asked. That's easy. My friends, Naruto told the princess. You mean Arya? Sari asked. Yep, she was my first friend, but it wasn't just her. Even now nearly all of my friends are from this world, the blonde told her. It must be nice, Sari said. What do you mean? Naruto asked. As a princess I was always sheltered as a kid, so I never got to meet people of my age. I didn't get along with the kids from the noble families. My subjects feel they cannot simply approach me. So now that I can freely leave the palace I still cannot form a bond with anyone, Sari explained. If you want, I could be your friend, Naruto offered, once again surprising the princess. I'd like that, Sari said with a small blush. You think the others are having as much difficulty getting through this place as we are? Naruto asked with a little sarcasm. Who knows, Sari said with a small smile as she walked a little closer to the blonde. With the others, fang over fang, Kiba yelled as he and Akamaru spun in a devastating attack towards an Anubis. What manner of sorcery is this? The Anubis demanded as she dodged the attack. It's called ninjutsu, Kakashi said as he came up from her side to strike her, only for the girl to block with her scale. It seems we're not welcome here, Shino said as he dodged the stinger of a Gertablilu. I wouldn't say you're unwelcome. At least, not all of you anyway, the Gertablilu said as she eyed the bug user. Sorry, I'm not looking for someone at the moment, Shino calmly said as his swarm of beetles came out of his sleeves. This is so troublesome, Shikamaru said as he captured several mummies with his shadow possession jutsu so that Choji could slam them into a wall with his partial expansion jutsu. You seem like a smart guy. Care to answer a question? A sphinx asked as she came up behind Shikamaru, trying to grab him. Troublesome, Shikamaru muttered as he jumped away from her. Come on, it's just a simple question, the sphinx purred. You alright? Asuma asked as he stood in the path the mummies were taking towards Kurenai, Ino, and Sakura. Yeah, we'll be fine. I didn't think they'd have such a technique, Kurenai said as she tried to ignore the rising heat in her body. It was bad luck that you got hit with that curse, Arya said as she blasted a group of mummies that were coming for them. But it seems it had an unusual effect on Hinata. I'm going to guess it's because of the demonic energy I gave her last night, Arya said as she watched the girl going around in a trance-like state taking down mummies with her gentle fist. If you're going to add commentary, then do it while you're fighting. Freya yelled at the Lilim as she flew up to avoid being surrounded. Fine, but you have to admit I was right when I said this was interesting, Arya said as she formed balls of demonic energy in her hands. With Naruto and Sari. This looks like a good place to look, Naruto said as he and Arya entered a large circular room with treasure piled up around the walls. In the middle of the room was a sarcophagus on an elevated platform. It would seem that way. Let's start looking, Sari excitedly said as she quickly walked to some of the treasure. However, before the two could make any progress in their search, the two heard the lid of the sarcophagus move before falling to the ground. I'm not the only one that heard that, right? Naruto asked as he and Sari stood with their backs to the sarcophagus. Unfortunately, I heard it as well, Sari said. The two slowly turned around to see a woman with mocha-colored skin, long black hair that became a light purple as it went down her back, ornate jewelry, and bandages covering her lower arms and legs. It seems I have visitors, the woman said after she yawned. Forgive me for being so tired. I have been sleeping for some time, she said as she rubbed her eyes. The mere presence of this woman compelled the two to kneel before her. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Anna, and I am the pharaoh of this land, Anna said. I would like to know the name of the ones who woke me from my slumber, Anna requested. As if they had no choice in the matter, the two gave their names. Naruto Uzumaki, shinobi of Konoha, Naruto said. Sari, princess of Auroran, Sari said. I see. Not to sound ungrateful for your help, may I ask why you've come here? Anna asked. I came here to find a mirror that shows the reflection of the one you're meant to be with, Sari said with some embarrassment. So that's what the mirror does. Guess I can understand, what with her meeting with so few people her age, Naruto thought. That old thing. Why would you want that? Anna said with some irritation. Please, I beg that you let me use it, Sari pleaded. Fine, Anna said as she went to get it. Stupid thing works for everyone but me, Anna said as she handed it to the now standing Sari, barely glancing at it. However, Anna quickly took the mirror back after she noticed something in the reflection. Anna took several minutes to look between the two and the mirror with a shocked expression. Are you okay? Naruto asked just before the pharaoh pulled him into a bone-crushing hug. Finally, do you have any idea how long I've been waiting for you? Anna asked with hearts all but dropping off of every word as she embraced the blonde. Did I miss something? Naruto asked, confused by the woman hugging him. That stupid mirror has been showing me the same reflection for centuries, and now you've finally shown up. Anna said as she let go of the blonde. Incredible. I heard the mirror was powerful, but to think it could predict something like this, Sari thought as she picked up the mirror and looked into it. Quickly putting it into her bag with a large blush when she saw the reflection. Now that we got the mirror, can we go find the others? Naruto asked. Others? Anna asked. With the others? They don't stop coming, Ino said as the group was surrounded by monsters. Dealing with them would be a lot easier if I didn't have to worry about brining this whole place down, Arya said, now annoyed with this situation. We'll have to fall back for now, Kakashi said. That won't be necessary, Anna said as her, Naruto, and Sari walked through the group of monsters. I'm sure these girls will give you some space, Anna said as the other monsters backed off from the shinobi. Thank you, miss? Kakashi said. Anna, I'm the pharaoh of this land, and if what Naruto tells me is true. I'm his newest wife, Anna happily said as she pulled the blonde into another embrace. 3 new lovers on one trip? That's a new record. Arya cheered as Freya, Ino, and Sakura groaned from the whole situation. Sorry dear, are you in here? A woman with brown shoulder-length hair and violet eyes asked as she entered Sari's room. Yes, mother. Do you need something? The red-haired girl asked as she sat on her bed facing her window. Not really. I just haven't seen you since Naruto left, the woman said. I see. You don't need to worry about me so much. I'm fine, Sari said as she looked out at the night sky. I know. I just can't help but worry about my little girl though, Sari's mother said as she sat down next to her daughter. I'm not a little girl, Sari told her. I suppose you aren't. You did seem sad when Naruto left. Should I chalk that up to you becoming a young lady? Sari's mother playfully asked. Perhaps, Sari said with a smile. I'm not sad really. I know I'll see Naruto again, Sari said as she traced her finger along the mirror she got from Anna. Konoha, next day. Inuzuka clan's compound. Why me? Kiba asked himself as he sat at his kitchen table being told by an Anubis that he has to follow a schedule she made for him. Next to him was his sister who was doing nothing to help him, and on the other side was his mother who was laughing her ass off. "Why are you in my house?" Kiba finally asked the girl as he stood up. "What do you mean? Isn't it normal for a wife to live with their husband?" the girl asked like it was obvious. This only got his mother to laugh harder. "Wife? I barely know you." Kiba all but yelled. "You have a point. My name is Kamas. I like keeping things in order and hate when I come across something I can't deal with." "Now as I was saying," Kamas said before going back to reading the schedule. "That's not what I meant." Kiba yelled as his mother's sides began to hurt from all the laughing. Nara clan's compound. "Do you have to beat me every time?" a sphinx asked as she stared at the shogi board. "You're getting better," Shikamaru told her. "Ah, I still lost 6 times in a row," the girl complained. "You're the one that wanted to do something, Ma," Shikamaru reminded her. "I thought we could do something a bit more pleasurable," Ma purred. "I'm not sleeping with you. Now, do you want to play again?" Shikamaru asked, getting an annoyed expression from Ma. "Fine," Ma said as they reset the board. Hyuga clan's compound. "I'm going to kill that boy when I get my hands on him." Hiyashi Hyuga yelled as his wife and several branch members tried to stop him from going off to murder Naruto. "Hiyashi, you can't just kill the boy. It was Hinata's choice when they slept together." His wife told him. "I don't care. He'll pay for taking my daughter's innocence." Hiyashi yelled as he struggled to get out of their hold. "You think father will act like this when I lose my virginity?" Hanabi asked her older sister as they watched their father trying to get free from the other Hyuga members so that he could go kill Naruto. "I don't know," Hinata told her as her face was bright red due to knowing this was happening because she had with Naruto. Hokage's tower. "I need to get Naruto out of the village until Hiyashi calms down. Let's just hope Hisa can keep him from murdering him until I find the right mission to send him on," Hiruzen thought as he looked through mission requests. A C-rank protection mission, huh? That should get him out of the village for a few weeks, Hiruzen thought as he looked at the mission request a man from Wave Country sent in. Later, "What kind of mission do you think we'll get this time?" Arya said as her and Team 7 walked through the tower's hallway. "As long as we don't have to go back to your world, I don't care what kind of mission we get," Sakura said. "What's wrong? You don't want to go back? I thought we had fun there," Arya teased the pink kid. "Why don't you just go home and leave me be?" Sakura asked, annoyed with the Lilim. "Not happening," Arya said as the group entered the mission room. "Ah Kakshi, it's good to see you. I already have a mission picked out for you," Hiruzen said as he threw the man the mission scroll. "Hiyashi?" Kakshi asked. "Yes, please keep Naruto out of the village for a while," Hiruzen said. "Naruto, surely you knew this would happen if you did something like that?" Iruka asked as he looked at the blonde. "It's not like I went out of my way to do it," Naruto defended himself. "You still could have said no," Sasuke told the blonde. "You'd be an expert on that, wouldn't you, Sasuke?" Naruto asked. "What do you mean, dope?" Sasuke asked. "I mean that you have so much experience saying no to all the girls that want to date you," Naruto said. "You do seem to avoid girls a lot. You can't rebuild your clan if you don't fuck someone," Arya said, to which Sasuke grunted and proceeded to ignore her. "Bring Mr. Tazuna in, would you?" Hiruzen said. After a moment, a drunk old man with a sleeves V-neck shirt, glasses, and a beard. "You got me a bunch of brats as protection? They don't look like they can protect even themselves," Tazuna said after he looked them over. "This is going to be fun," Naruto thought sarcastically. 2 hours later, village gates. "I thought one shinobi team was 4 members. I'm not paying extra these ones," Tazuna said as he motioned to Arya, Freya, and a girl with gray skin. Short faded purple hair, and other than her cloak, just enough clothing to cover her privates. "They're not shinobi, so you don't have to worry about the price going up," Kakshi told the man. "All right, I'm finally going outside the village." Naruto cheered once the group went through the giant gates of the village. "What are you talking about? You've been out of the village before," Sakura told him. "Yeah, but not while I was still in the elemental nations," the blonde said. "Hey, am I supposed to entrust my life to this kid?" Tazuna asked. "You have nothing to fear, bridge builder. Naruto is a skilled warrior, despite how he may act when not in battle," Freya told him. "Even if we failed to protect you, I can always bring you back from the dead," the girl with faded purple hair calmly said, making Tazuna a bit uneasy. "You can bring people back from the dead?" Sakura asked, not believing the girl. Sakura's question getting Sasuke interested in the answer. Yes, but it's easier to reanimate a core without memories problems the newer it is. I've been trying to fix this problem by studying the forbidden reanimation jutsu created by the Nidaime Hokage, the girl said. Can you bring back someone who died years ago? Sasuke asked the girl. Yes, but the memories issues I mentioned before would be a problem. Besides, I've already brought back to live your mother the day she died, the girl said as the group walked along the path. So my mother did die in the massacre? Sasuke asked, knowing he had seen her dead that night. Yes, I was testing out a new technique to bring the dead back to life. It seems to only work on those who had a large amount of chakra, such as shinobi do. It also requires a lot of power, and with the limited amount of time the spell could be cast there was only enough time to bring back one person, the girl calmly explained. Thank you, Sasuke quietly said after a few minutes of silence. I did it solely out of personal reasons, but I'll accept your thanks, the girl said. Sometime later. They do know that a puddle being there is stupid, right? Arya asked as the group passed a small puddle. I was hoping that they'd think we fell for it and make a move, Kakashi said as the shinobi came out of the puddle. Sorry, guess I messed up that plan, Arya said as the group turned to the two. Our plan's stupid, huh? You won't be thinking that when you're dying, one of them said as they lifted their metal gauntlet-covered arms which were linked by a spiked chain. Good luck with that, Arya said just before she blasted the two with magic, sending them through a few trees knocking them out. They didn't last very long did they, the faded purple-haired girl said. You're right, Rei. I was hoping for a bit more fun, Arya pouted. Tazuna, Kakashi said, getting the bridge builder to start worrying. What is it? The man asked. You paid for a C-rank mission, so we were only expecting to run into bandits and the like. Not other shinobi, Kakashi said as he stared at the bridge builder. Fighting shinobi would make this at least a B-rank mission. Now normally, I'd say we should turn back, but since we have such capable fighters with us, Kakashi said as he motioned to the monster girls. I'll make an exception. You just need to tell us what we're really dealing with, Kakashi told the man. Wave country. So you girls aren't even human? Tazuna asked, thinking that he'd heard wrong. Yes, I am a Lilim, as you can see, Arya said as she took off her extra clothes. Either you're telling the truth, or I'm not as sober as I think I am, Tazuna said. We're being watched, Rei said as the mist rolled in. Can you tell where they are? Kakashi asked. Yes, they're behind us, just off to the right 23 feet away. He has a muscular frame, the lower half of his face is covered by bandages, and he carries a large sword on his back, Rei said as she looked through the eyes of her familiar that had found the man. Keep an eye on him, Kakashi said. Seems Gato hired the demon of the mist to take care of us, Kakashi thought. Duck, Rei yelled as the man threw his sword. A massive sword spun over the group as they ducked under it as it went further and lodging itself in a tree. Well, if it isn't Kakashi of the Sharingan. No wonder the demon brothers failed, the man said after he landed on his sword. If it isn't the demon of the mist, Zabuza Momochi, Kakashi said as everyone stood up to look at the man. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the hidden mist, became a shinobi after killing all the graduate-aged students of Kirigakure's Shinobi Academy, a rank rouge shinobi of Kirigakure after a failed coup d'état against the Mizukage, and a master of the silent killing technique, Rei said in a calm voice as Zabuza stood on his sword. Seems like you did your homework, Zabuza commented. I made sure to read and memorize any and all bingo books I could get hold of. Knowing your opponent better than they know you gives an advantage, Rei said as she pulled out a book. A strategist, huh? It doesn't matter if you know me, if you're dead, Zabuza told her. I'm already dead, Rei said as her book opened up with purple energy coming from it. Using her magic along with her book, Rei brought water from the lake next to them to form a doom of water over the group and then reinforced it with demonic energy. So, I'll have to take out Kakashi first then, Zabuza said, seeing that the silver-haired shinobi was the only one not in the barrier. Why did you leave Kakashi-sensei out there? Sakura asked the lich. Kakashi is the only one here with the skills to counter Zabuza's silent killing technique. We would just get in the way, Rei informed her. Well done, Rei. Keep everyone safe while I deal with Zabuza, Kakashi said as he pulled up his headband to reveal the Sharingan he had. So, the Sharingan huh? Let's see if it's as good as they say, Zabuza said before he took his sword out of the tree as the mist thickened. Hidden mist jutsu huh, Kakashi thought to himself. The mist is getting thicker, Freya said. The land of waves is surrounded by ocean. The swirling mists are ever present, Tazuna said. 8 points. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart. Now, which will be my kill point? Zabuza said into the mist. He really wants to build up the atmosphere, doesn't he? Arya said. Using his own chakra, Kakashi dispersed a large portion of the mist surrounding them. Don't worry, I won't allow my comrades to die, Kakashi said just before Zabuza's sword cut into the barrier, stopping just before it hit Rei's head. It seems I need to add more energy to the water, Rei said without flinching as Zabuza was impaled with tendrils of water that came from the barrier. That's quite the barrier, Zabuza's voice said from the mist as the Zabuza impaled by water turned to water himself. But it won't be good enough, Zabuza said as he appeared behind Kakashi and sliced him in half with his sword, only for that Kakashi to turn into water. Don't move, the real Kakashi said as he stood behind Zabuza with a kunai to his neck. He saw through the mist and used a water clone as well, Zabuza thought as he turned to water, only for the real Zabuza to show up behind him and swing his sword at the man. This time Kakashi ducked, only for Zabuza to plant his sword in the ground and use it help him kick Kakashi into the lake. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto and Sakura yelled, concerned for their teacher. Rushing out onto the water after Kakashi, Zabuza trapped him in a ball of water. Escaping into the water. Bad mistake, Kakashi thought. This prison is made of water, but is harder than steel. It's hard to fight when you can't even move. So much for the great Kakashi, I'll finish you off later. But first your little friends will have to be eliminated, Zabuza said as he turned to the group and used his free hand to form a scene so that he could make another water clone. Freya, take care of the clone. Arya, attack the original. He can't move without freeing Kakashi, so he'll either dodge or take the hit, Rei said as she made an opening in the barrier for them. Right, Freya said as she went for the clone. This would be over already if he didn't use this mist technique of his, Arya complained as she flew up and towards the original, firing blasts of demonic energy at the man. What? Zabuza nearly yelled as he was forced to move to avoid Arya's attacks. Your skills with a sword are impressive, but thou stands no chance against a Holly warrior such as myself, Freya declared as she cut the clone down after exchanging a few blows. Seems our fight isn't over, Kakashi told the man. We'll see about that, Zabuza said as he started forming hand signs, all the while Kakashi mimicked him. Water Dragon Jutsu. The two called out as two massive water dragons came out of the water and cancelled each other out. Something isn't Sharingan can copy any technique instantly. However, both just you happen simultaneously. Could he? Zabuza thought as he and Kakashi locked blades. Jumping away, Zabuza began running in a circle only for Kakashi to copy him. Stopping, Zabuza then went into a pose, only for the man to copy him again. My movements, it's as if he knows what Zabuza was thinking only for Kakashi to finish, about to do next. What? Is he reading my mind as well? He looks at me with that eye, Zabuza thought. It makes you furious, doesn't it? Kakashi asked as Arya hovered above the fight watching with interest. Quite the mind game you're playing, Kakashi, the Lilim thought. Water-style water vortex jutsu, Kakashi called out as he finished the hand signs before Zabuza, forming a vortex of water that blasted Zabuza into one of the trees along the bank. After throwing kunai into the Rouge Shinobi's limbs, Kakashi appeared on a branch above the man. You're finished, Kakashi told him. How? Can you see into the future? Zabuza asked. Yes. This is your last battle, ever, Kakashi told him just before Senbon were thrown into Zabuza's neck, killing the man, much to everyone's surprise. You were right. It was his last battle. A girl with long brown hair done up in a bun leaving her bangs free and a mask covering her face said from a nearby tree. No vital signs, Kakashi said after checking for a pulse. Thank you. I've been tracking Zabuza for a long time. Waiting for this chance, to finally take him down, the girl said. By your mask, I see you're a tracker shinobi from Kiri, Kakashi said. Impressive. You're well informed, the girl said. A tracker? How unfortunate. I was hoping to use his core in my experiments, Rei calmly said as she looked from the Zabuza to the girl as she lowered the barrier. Precisely why we are sent out to deal with Rouge Shinobi, the girl said as she dropped down to Zabuza's body. I'll be taking the body, she said before disappearing with Zabuza. Lowering his headband, Kakashi turned to the others. We still have a mission to complete. We still need to get the bridge builder to his bridge, Kakashi told them. Ha ha ha, sorry for causing all this trouble. You can rest at my house when we get there, Tazuna said. Alright, let's get a move on, Kakashi said as he started to walk in the direction of Tazuna's house, only to fall down after a few steps. Seems he used too much energy in his fight, Freya said. Naruto, could you carry the man? Arya asked. Yeah, the blonde said as he made a bunch of clones to carry the silver-haired man. Tazuna's house. How long will he be out? A woman with long black hair asked as her and the others sat at a table. He should be up in a few hours tomorrow at the latest, but he won't be able to walk on his own for the next couple days, Ray answered. He shouldn't exhaust himself like that. It's not good for him, Sakura said. Naruto, I'd like to replenish the energy I used up earlier. Could you come with me? Ray said as she stood up and started walking towards the room they were staying in. Right behind you, Naruto said as he got up and followed her. Replenish her energy? What does she mean by that? The woman asked. We monsters use demonic energy instead of chakra. The best way to get more demonic energy is to transform human spirit energy into demonic energy, and the best way to get human spirit energy is through, Arya explained to the woman. I see, the woman said as a blush formed on her face. You get used to it, Sasuke told her. Next morning, Kya, Sasuke screamed as she found herself in Naruto's bed, wearing nothing but her boxers. Why am I a girl again and why am I in your bed? Sasuke shouted as she beat the blonde with a pillow. Why would I know? You're the one that snuck into my bed at night. The blonde shouted as he blocked the pillow strikes with his arms. I swear, if you did anything to me, I'll kill you, Sasuke shouted. You two didn't do anything, Arya said with a disappointed expression. You saw what happened? Sasuke asked. Yeah, you transformed in your sleep and got under the covers with Naruto like you were sleepwalking. I was hoping you two would go at it, but nothing happened, Arya told them. Why would that happen? Sasuke asked with a blush as she covered her chest with the pillow. Probably because you're suppressing your urges, Arya said, just before Sasuke threw the pillow into her face. I don't have urges, Sasuke yelled. I don't really care this early in the morning. I'm going to the bathroom, Naruto said as he got out of bed and left the room. You're going to end up fucking him eventually. Why don't you just give in to it now? Arya asked, only to have another pillow throw at her. Shut it, the Uchiha yelled. Next day. Good morning everyone, Sakura said with a yawn as she entered the kitchen. Naruto not here? Guess he was out all night, Tazuna said. He's gone completely crazy. He's out climbing trees in the dark. He could be dead by now. You know, from using up all of his chakra, Sakura said. Well, I sure hope he's okay. A child spending the night in the woods alone, Tsunami said as she brought food to the table. He's more than a child. I know from experience. If you'd like, you could join us for a fun night, Arya said. I think I'll pass, Tsunami said with a massive blush as she looked away from the Lilim. Pay no attention to that foul monster. Though she is correct in saying Naruto is no mere child. He has saved many lives and nations in his life. For that he is widely known as a hero in my world, Freya said. Heroes don't exist, Inari said. Whether you believe heroes exist or not is pointless. Naruto is still a hero and he will save this nation, Freya told the boy. I'm going for a walk, Sasuke said as he got up and made his way to the door. Going to ravish Naruto? Arya asked only to be ignored. So, back to ignoring me huh? I'd hoped he'd get flustered like yesterday, Arya said with a pout after the boy left. With Naruto, you'll catch cold if you sleep here. Wake up, the girl that was with Zabuza, now wearing a pink kimono without her mask, said as she shook the blonde awake. Ow, who are you? Naruto asked as he sat up. I'm Hiku, Hiku told the blonde. Naruto Uzumaki, what are you doing all the way out here Hiku? Naruto asked. I'm gathering herbs, the brunette told him. Herbs huh? Need help? Naruto asked. Thank you for offering. I would appreciate it, Hiku said. You sure came out here early didn't you? Naruto asked as the two picked herbs. I like it early. It's calm, but I didn't think I'd find someone sleeping out here in the woods, Hiku said. I was out here training and just fell asleep when I tired myself out, Naruto told her. So, are you a shinobi because I noticed that headband you're wearing, or are you just making a fashion statement? Haku asked. I'm a shinobi, Naruto said with a smile. I see. That's very impressive, but does that mean you're training for something dangerous? The brunette asked. I'm just training to get stronger, Naruto told her. You seem strong already. Isn't that enough? Haku asked. Not at all. I need to be as strong as possible so that I can protect those I care about. Naruto told her. To protect huh? Haku said with a small smile. You'll get strong, very strong, Haku said as she grabbed her basket and stood up. Goodbye, we'll meet again, Haku said before she walked off. After a few minutes Sasuke showed up. Hey dope, did you forget about breakfast? Sasuke asked as he punched the blonde's head. Ow, what was that for? Naruto asked. You're such a loser, Sasuke said getting the blonde the smile and laugh a little. He really is cute, Sasuke's female voice said. I didn't hear anything, Sasuke thought as his eyes started twitching. Why the hell would they let me sleep in like that? Naruto complained as he jumped through the trees. You've been training more than usual. It only seemed reasonable to let you sleep, Arya said as she flew next to him. Something wrong? Arya asked after the blonde stopped on a tree. We're going back, the blonde said as he turned around and jumped as fast as he could in the direction they just came from. What's that all about? Arya thought as she looked down at what Naruto had seen. TCH, so that's Gato's plan, Arya thought before taking off after the blonde. Tazuna's house. Stop, Inari said to the two men taking Tsunami away. Well, if it isn't the little tough guy, the taller of the two men said. Inari. The woman called out. How cute. You've come to save your mommy, the man that spooked before said. You, better get away from my mom. Inari yelled as he started running at the men. Inari, no. Tsunami told the boy. Hee, this kid's a little short on brains, don't ya think? The man asked. Take him down, the smaller man said as the two prepared to draw their swords. If you hurt him, I swear I'll ga, Tsunami was saying when the shorter guy knocked her out. Take a nap would ya, the man said as Tsunami dropped to the dock unconscious. The two men cut through Inari, only for him to be switched with a log at the last second. The substitution jutsu, the smaller man said. The woman, she's gone. The other man said. Sorry I'm late. You know, heroes usually show up at the last minute, Naruto said as he put Tsunami down on the dock away from the two men. Naruto, it's you, Inari said as the blonde put him down next to his mother. You did great Inari. You gave me enough time to get Tsunami out of there, Naruto told the boy, much to the boy's surprise. Naruto, how did you know these samurai would be here? Inari asked. Someone cut up a boar and a bunch of trees. The cut marks led back to here, so I came as fast as I could, Naruto told the boy. Blah blah, it's one of those puny shinobi brats Tazuna hired, the taller man said. Get em, the smaller guy said as his partner agreed. They're coming, Inari said. Not for long, Naruto calmly said as he stood up. Just after he said that the two men were blasted from behind by Arya, sending their unconscious bodies right at Naruto's feet. They aren't very powerful, are they? The Lilim asked as she walked up to them. After Naruto tied the men up. Sorry about the other day, Naruto apologized to Inari. Huh? Inari said in slight confusion. For calling you a coward. It was a bit mean, besides, you proved that you're not a coward, the blonde said as he patted the boy's head. Only for the boy to start crying. Darn it, I promised myself that I wouldn't cry anymore. You're going to make fun of me again and call me a baby. But I can't stop, Inari said as he tried to wipe his tears away. What are you talking about? You're happy, what's wrong with that? When you're happy, it's okay to cry, the blonde told Inari. Okay, I have to go help my team. So I'm leaving you in charge, Naruto said before he and Arya took off for the bridge. The bridge, you help Kakashi-sensei. I'll help Sasuke, Naruto said as the two got to the bridge to see everyone already fighting. Oh? Hoping that Sasuke will change into a girl and ravish you if you become her hero? Arya half-jokingly asked. Just do it, Naruto told the Lilim. About time they showed up, Rei quietly said as she maintained the barrier protecting her, Sakura, Tazuna, and Freya. You are right. Their assistance would be greatly appreciated right now, Freya said, a bit annoyed that Rei wouldn't let her fight. What are you two talking about? Sakura asked, just before two blasts of demonic energy went past the barrier. One aimed at Zabuza and the other aimed at the dome of ice mirrors. "So, she's come to fight again, huh?" Zabuza said as he avoided being hit by the blast that left a small crater where he stood less than a minute ago. "You'll have to do better than that," Zabuza told the Lilim, only to freeze when he heard a crashing sound. Looking at where Haku and Sasuke were fighting, Zabuza saw that a third of the ice mirrors had been obliterated and the rest were cracked. Impossible. Nothing should be able to break Halu's mirrors. Zabuza thought in disbelief. "What's with that look?" "As a Lilim, I possess a great deal of power," Arya said as she appeared next to Kakashi. "I could take out this whole area if I wanted. Though that wouldn't be very good for the mission since Tazuna would have to start building a new bridge. Not to mention I'd take out everyone on the bridge right now if I did," Arya told the Rouge Shinobi. Impossible. To have that kind of power. Zabuza thought. I wonder if she's tell him the full extent of her power. If what I hear about her mother is true, it's entirely possible that she's not saying just how powerful she is, Kakashi thought as he looked at the girl out of the corner of his eye. Is she really that powerful? Sakura asked. Unfortunately yes. She's the reason I haven't been able to put Naruto on the path of a great hero yet, Freya said. Lilim are natural powerful beings. Arya's mother, the Demon Lord, has the power of a god, and that power only increases the more she has. With as long as Arya has been with Naruto, she's probably more powerful than she's letting on, Rei explained. To think I'd get someone like that protecting me and my bridge with the amount of money I spent to hire a team of shinobi, Tazuna said. No kidding. I had no idea she was that strong, Sakura thought as she just started at the white-haired girl. With Sasuke. What the hell was that? Sasuke thought as he had Senbon sticking out of him. To take out my ice mirrors with such ease. There's no way I could win against someone like that, Haku thought as she pushed herself off of the ground as the remainder of her ice mirrors shattered. Hope I'm not too late, Naruto said as he walked up to the two. Naruto came to save us. Sasuke's female voice cheered. Ignoring me won't make me go away, you know, female Sasuke asked her male counterpart after a minute of him being quiet. You're not real, you're just a figment of my imagination, Sasuke told her. Probably, but that still means I'm real to you, and I'm not going anywhere. So just fuck Naruto already, the voice told the boy. I'd rather die, Sasuke told her. Are you able to fight? Naruto asked. Why do you ask? I'm your enemy after all, Haku told him as she stood up. I don't want to fight if they can't fight back, the blonde said. To answer the blonde, Haku came at him with a senbon. Only to have the blonde punch her, shattering her already cracked mask. That attack did more damage than I thought, Haku thought as she tried to get back up. I failed you, Zabuza, the ice user thought, just before she saw Naruto offer to help her up. You're too hurt to fight. Let me help you, Haku, Naruto said as he held his hand out for the girl to take. Why? The girl thought. Why do you refuse to finish me? Haku asked. What are you talking about? Naruto asked, confused by her question. I'm no longer of any use to Zabuza. I'm nothing but a broken tool now, Haku told him as she thought about her past. I live to serve Zabuza. He saved me and gave me a purpose in life, Haku told him. A purpose, huh? Naruto asked as he thought about how his life seemed meaningless until he met Arya. I understand what you're saying, but I just can't kill someone that can't defend themselves, Naruto told her. I see. No matter, it seems I can be of use to Zabuza one last time, Haku said as she formed another ice mirror and went through it. Wait, Haku. Naruto tried to stop her but was too slow. Damn it, the blonde thought. With Arya. And here I thought you were supposed to be strong, Arya calmly said as she forced demonic energy into her right arm until a long blade of demonic energy formed around her lower arm. To be honest, I detest killing, but if it means Naruto will be safe, I'll take down anyone that stands before me, Arya said as she narrowed her eyes at the heavily injured man. Just like Haku in that regard, Zabuza thought as he stood there, trapped by the dogs Kakashi had summoned. This is the end of you, Arya calmly said as she rushed at the man with her arm aimed at his heart. Wah! Both Arya and Zabuza thought as Haku appeared in front of Arya's attack. Damn it, you stupid girl, Arya thought as she pulled her arm out of the girl's chest. Well done, Haku. You've come through again, Zabuza said as he raised his sword to take out Arya now that he was no longer bound by Kakashi's summons, thanks to Haku hitting the summoning scroll with Senbon. He's so important to you that you were willing to give your life for him. You poor thing, Arya thought with a sad expression after she jumped out of Zabuza's reach. Rei, I entrust her to you, Arya said as she put the girl down in front of the barrier. Understood, Rei said as she expanded the barrier to allow Haku's body inside. Zabuza, I have a suggestion for you, Arya said as she turned back to the man. And what would that be? The man asked as he used his sword to stay standing. I offer you a job serving me as protection, Arya said, to everyone's surprise. Are you insane? He tried to kill us. Sakura yelled at the girl, only to be ignored. I've already killed more than I'm comfortable with, and I'd rather not have to tell Haku that she gave her life only for you to die. Arya told him as Rei dropped the barrier and began repairing the ice user's body. What are you talking about? Zabuza asked as his vision became blurry due to blood loss. I'm sure you'll understand when you wake up, Arya said as the man passed out. To think that I spent all that money on him. No big deal, I wasn't going to pay him anyway, a short man in a business suit said as he stood at the end of the bridge with a small militia of hired bandits. Kakashi, I'm tired of dealing with this. Could you pick up the trash for me? Arya asked as she watched Naruto with Sasuke leaning on his shoulder walking up to the rest of them. Right, Kakashi calmly said, and with that said the man ran at the group ready to take Gato out. How long will it take? Arya asked as she walked up to Rei. You shouldn't kill if it affects you this much, Rei said as she finished patching up the girl's body. You didn't answer my question, Arya told the lich. I'll be finished in roughly 2 hours, Rei told the Lilim. What are you doing? Tazuna asked. I'm bringing her back to life, Rei told the man. After sunset, Tazuna's house. Wah? Haku asked as she slowly opened her eyes. I see you're finally waking up, Naruto said as he sat next to the futon the girl was sleeping in. Naruto? Haku asked as she looked at the boy. Even with Rei reviving you, it's surprising to see you up so soon, Arya said from where she stood next to the door. So, I did die. What happened to Zabuza? The girl asked. He's alive, but he probably won't be up for a while, Arya told her. What do you plan to do? Haku asked as she stared intensely at the girl that killed her. I plan to give him a job, Arya simply said, making Haku blink a few times in both surprise and confusion. A job? Haku asked after a few minutes. Mother's palace could use more skilled warriors with differing fighting styles. I just thought Zabuza fight the bill for that, the Lilim said. Zabuza is a rouge shinobi. You'd be, Haku was saying when the girl cut her off. That won't be an issue. I can promise that, Arya said, which seemed to silence the girl. Since you don't seem to have any more questions, I recommend you get some rest. If you have any problems just tell Naruto. He may be a clone, but he should be able to help, Arya said as she opened the door to leave. A clone? Where's the real Naruto? Haku asked. He'll be spending the next few days restoring Rei's energy, Arya said before she left the room, with a slightly confused girl and a slightly blushing blonde inside. I want to know what you're planning by keeping me alive? Zabuza asked the Lilim as he sat on the couch, covered in bandages and with his right arm in a sling. For someone that just woke up after getting his ass kicked, you have a lot of energy, Arya commented as she moved some hair out of her face. Answer the question, Zabuza said with a glare as Haku came in with some healing herbs and water for the man. You seem useful, so I want you to be a part of the Royal Demon Realm's forces, Arya told the man. I don't buy it. You didn't seem to have a problem trying to kill me before, Zabuza said. He has a point, Sakura thought as she stood with Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi. Fine, if you want my motive then it's because I have a kind heart, Arya said as she looked away from the man. A kind heart? Care to elaborate on that? Zabuza asked, becoming annoyed that she wasn't giving a straight answer. It wasn't for you. It was for Haku here, Arya said as she motioned to the girl. I took a liking to her at first sight. I didn't want to tell her that you died after she gave her life for you, the Lilim said. You're an idiot for feeling sorry for your enemies, but I guess I should be grateful for that since it's kept me alive, Zabuza said as he relaxed into the couch. Though, couldn't you have just brought me back to life like you did with Haku? The swordsman asked. No, Rei wouldn't have been able to revive you in the same way she did with Haku, Arya told him. So she has more than one way to bring back the dead? Zabuza asked. Yeah, the method she used on Haku is something she created. Idon. Know all of the details, but she says that only works if the person died within a few hours, Naruto said. Like Naruto said, if she were to revive you, there would have been a few problems. Not very many since you would have only been dead a few days, but they'd still be there. That, and you wouldn't technically be alive, Arya explained. What? Would I be some mindless zombie? Zabuza asked. You wouldn't be mindless, but a zombie isn't that far off of an explanation, Arya told the man. Where is that girl anyway? Zabuza asked, not even wanting to question the absurdity of bring the dead back to life at this point. She's having the real Naruto help her restore her energy, Arya told the man. You said that yesterday too. What do you mean when you say Naruto's helping her restore her energy? Haku asked, getting Sakura to groan since Arya has a reason to talk about now. I'm glad you asked. This is something Zabuza should know since he'll be spending a lot of time around monsters once he accepts my offer. Arya cheerfully said. What are you talking about? Zabuza asked. Why do I feel like I shouldn't have asked? Haku thought as she anticipated the Lilim's answer. We monsters use demonic energy rather than chakra. Demonic energy is made by turning human spirit energy into demonic energy, and the best way to do that is through. Arya happily told them. Quote ? Then that means that Naruto's been, Haku was saying with a blush when Arya continued her thought. That's right, Naruto and Rei have been fucking since they got back to the house. Arya said. I have nothing to say to that, Haku said with a red face. So Blondie has to keep the two of you filled? Sounds like a lucky son of a bitch to me, Zabuza said with a grin. He has more than me and Rei to take care of, but I'd like to think that all of the girls that sleep with him are just as lucky as him, Arya said. Not to be rude and interrupt, but how long does it usually take whenever Rei needs to restore her energy? Kakashi asked as he read his orange book. Usually 2 to 3 days, but with Naruto clones I'd bet that she's already finished replenishing her demonic energy. Though knowing her, she'll keep having him pour energy into her for a while, Arya said, a bit jealous that she wasn't being fucked into oblivion by a harem of Narutos. You're right on that, Naruto thought as he got more memories from the clones Rei just finished off. For the love of God, are you listening to this? Narutos could fuck us stupid for days on end. If you don't let me out then I'll take control by force, female Sasuke yelled at her male counterpart. Never going to happen, the boy told her. Come on, I thought you wanted to restore the clan, she said. Not like that, the Uchiha yelled at his female personality. Sasuke's acting weird, Sakura thought as she looked at her crush. After the bridge was finished and the group was near Konoha. You must have really damaged your arm if you still can't use it, Arya said as she walked beside the swordsman. Whose fault would that be? Zabuza asked as he glared at the girl. I don't know what you're talking about, Arya said as she played innocent. I can use it for small things. It should be as good as new in a few days, the man said. It would have been healed by now if you had let me repair it, Rei told him in her usually calm and controlled tone. I don't trust you to just fix it, the swordsman told the lich. I can promise that I wouldn't add anything that would affect you negatively, Rei told him. I'll pass, Zabuza simply said. You got used to everyone pretty fast, Naruto commented. You're all weird, but you don't piss me off. So there's no reason not to get along with you all, the man said. 10 minutes later. So this is Konoha? Haku asked as they stood in front of the open village gate. Yep, I'll show you where my house is. You can live with me until the two of you find your own place, Naruto said to Haku and Zabuza. You heard him, let's get going, Arya said as she grabbed Haku's wrist and started pulling the girl along with her. She's trying to get Haku to have with you, isn't she? Zabuza asked as he stood next to Naruto. More than likely, Naruto said with a sigh as he started walking towards his house, followed by Rei, Freya, and finally Zabuza.